Hey everyone, welcome back to our Get Wise series. Today we're doing Proverbs chapter 25. Happy Saturday everyone, we're almost through this. So you'll need, go ahead and get your Bible, turn to Proverbs 25. You'll need paper and pen today. And what we're going to do is split the chapter in half. So once you get that, go ahead and pause and read verses 2 through 14. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully that was enough time to pause. So, looking at 2 verses 14, and of course, if you just read it, when I first read it, there was a few verses that I was confused about, and we'll talk about those in a second. But what we're going to do is just go through and discuss it and talk about the verses. So, let's get into it. Verses 2 through 4, it says, "It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out." At first that's confusing because we're like, what? God conceals things, but what it's talking about is there is a lot of concealed by God. Like if we just think about the Trinity and how there's no way we can fully comprehend that. As humans, we can have an idea, but we can't fully understand it, really. Or so many other ways of God that aren't fully known. It's saying it's the glory of God. Like part of who He is He's bigger than us. He has way more things concealed than we could ever possibly come to know because He's that big of a God. And it says, but it is the glory of the kings to search things out. So that like a wise king would search God's ways out and would search to understand His concealed things. For example, like the Trinity or I don't know. That's the first one that's coming to my mind right now. That a wise king would search that out. And it goes with 3, where it says, as the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. So just like, basically there's no end to the heavens. Like that goes for forever and ever. And the earth for depth. In this description, it's saying that goes for forever. So the heart of king is unsearchable. And it goes with it that if the heart of a king is easily seen, his rules, his ways is easily understood and flippant, or like his enemies and people could easily understand the king's ways, then he's not a very wise king. But a wise king has ways that even his people don't fully understand that are for their benefit. And so it's comparing that a wise king is acting like God in that way. And as Solomon is giving wisdom to his son, who will be a king one day, he's trying to give them kingly advice that don't make your ways just known to everyone, where there are enemies out there trying to put it down. But like God has ways, he's a good God, and there are things that we don't even understand about that, for the king to also be wise. Wise and plan well for what he does. If we look at 4 and 5, take away the dross from silver. So dross is impurities, that when it's melted, if you can skim it off the top. So take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. So just like you take dross away from silver, take out unrighteous people from beside you as king, or as us, not as kings, but as people. There's wisdom in that if we're seeking counsel or the friends around us are not very righteous, that's like the dross in the silver, and to take that away. And it says, so your throne will be established in righteousness. 6 and 7, do not put yourself forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of the great. For it is better to be told, 'Come up here,' than to be put lower in the presence of a noble." So what I put for that is basically to be humble, not to assert yourself in authority or position because you might be deserving of it, but better it is to be invited. And then let's keep going. 8 through 10. "What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court. For what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame? Argue your case with your neighbor himself, and do not reveal another's secret, lest he who hears you brings shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end." So basically, and this is not the first place Scripture is talking about this, but handle your problems one-on-one with a person first. So like if I saw my neighbor who is married kissing someone, and I just ran and jumped on that and told the whole community about it, well, maybe that was their brother, and I didn't know. So there can be so many misunderstandings, and it is wise and just to go to that person first and handle it with them than to get a court or community involved. Okay, 11 through 14. Oh, I turned the page too soon. It says, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Like a gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him. He refreshes the soul of his masters. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of a gift he does not give." So 11 and 12, we can look at those together. It's saying a word fitly spoken is like gold apples among silver. That a wise word in the proper time is such a good thing to have. So to have wise words at right times. Same with 12. 13, and this was interesting that I had to look up. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest, which means the time of harvest is hot. You are harvesting, you are doing a lot of work. So when snow comes, how refreshing that is. That's like when in the summer when we're so hot, if it were to snow, everyone would love it. It's giving that comparison. But it's saying that refreshness, if that's a word, is what it feels like when someone sends a faithful messenger, because they're refreshed, because they can trust him. And so are we the type of people that can be trusted with messages that would be refreshing for people to confide in us a message? 14, like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of a gift he does not give. That's useless. So it's, again, calling this young king's attention to don't be useless and boast in gifts that you do not have. That would be like clouds and wind without rain. So we just went through half of the chapter together and really broke down a lot of the meaning to where we can apply it. And so what I want you to do is take the rest of this time. So there's still half a chapter left. And this is where I encourage you can throw on some worship music. You can get away and read it. And then also pull out the wisdom that is applicable to your life and write it out to the side. And I have some encouragement for you, because there will be one or two verses that are probably confusing. But if you go, you can literally just Google this, but BibleStudyTools.com is a really good resource. So if you Googled Proverbs 25, verse like 18 or something, just make sure and say, what does it mean? It'll bring you the BibleStudyTools.com link. Just make sure you click on that one. This one is trusted and good, and it'll give you more understanding about verses that are a little confusing. So do that. Go ahead and spend the rest of your time reading 15 through 28 and see what God points out to you and what you can take away from it. probably what I took away from 1 through 14 the most. It was a good reminder to handle problems, again, one-on-one with a person, to not react or anything like that, but just how important it is to go directly to someone and talk with them about a problem. And then I thought it was really interesting, the verse 2 and 3 that we first talked about how God conceals things, that there's wisdom in having some concealedness, and not just everything being out there. And so that was interesting to me to learn about and think that there's wisdom in that, and what to share and what to conceal and what is wise and good in those things. So that was, and then again, like the dross for silver, how those are impurities that are scraped off. Is there any influences in my life that are like dross to silver that need to be skimmed out, so I have a better righteous way of living, because I'm not listening to those negative impacts. So there's a lot of wisdom to be taken out of these guys. So just take your time for this next half and really see what those wisdoms are. And that's my encouragement to you. I hope y'all have a great Saturday and enjoy this Get Wise series, and we'll see you next time. Bye.